It's not for often that National and Labor see eye to eye, but the two parties have joined forces to fast-track a law combating modern slavery. Labor's previous attempt went nowhere after the coalition took power because ACT wasn't interested. So, in a rare move, National has teamed up with the opposition to get it done. Here's political correspondent Zane Small.
Hastings man Joseph Matamata was the first person to be convicted of both human trafficking and slavery in New Zealand. In 2020, he was jailed for 11 years over mistreatment of workers he brought over from Samoa for horticultural work. Exploitation World Vision reckons could have been avoided if organisations were forced to identify modern slavery in supply chains.
Particularly if they're working in a particularly risky area like horticulture, that they have some protocols in place to identify what's going on.
World Vision has been campaigning for a law change for years.
Tell our government, stop delaying modern slavery legislation.
Labor listened and in 2023 announced legislation requiring businesses to publicly report on modern slavery risks. But that year Labor lost the election, and in 2024 Workplace Relations Minister Brooke Van Velden of the ACT Party said modern slavery legislation was not a priority for the coalition government. The following year, National MP Greg Fleming and Labor MP Camilla Bellich introduced their own modern slavery bills. And now they've united to get it across the line.
It means that large companies will have to report on modern slavery that they find in their supply chain, that they have to report that to a registrar.
The pair are co-sponsoring a new bill, which is separate from Labor's previous legislation that went nowhere.
For the legislation to get through Cabinet, it obviously needed the full support of Cabinet, and they ACT weren't supportive of it.
What they were saying was that you didn't continue with Labor's previous legislation. It was discontinued by the coalition government, and Labor and National are saying that's because of ACT's position.
Look, I would have to go back a very, very long time ago.
The new bill would apply to businesses with over 100 million in revenue.
If you really care about slavery, then why do you allow it for companies of less than $100 million?
We're just delighted that we've been able to work together, activate Standing Order 288 and get this bill to the House.
Standing Order 288 is a rule that allows non-government MPs to propose a new law but bypass the usual process for backbench MPs, which is to submit it into a ballot box. But the rule only applies if at least 61 MPs back the legislation, allowing it to be fast-tracked onto Parliament's agenda.
We had a commitment, from both Labor and National, and interest from both caucuses to work on this legislation. We thought this was the most sensible way to deal with it, actually, the two caucuses coming together.
We know that other countries have schemes in place to prevent modern slavery. It's an issue that we both felt really passionately about.
The pair hope to have it passed into law before the November election.
And Zane, this is pretty unusual, but it's not the only thing that Labor's helping National with. What's the latest you can tell us on the India Free Trade Agreement?
Well, Sam, we still don't know for sure if Labor is going to support the India Free Trade Agreement. I understand the Labor caucus is still working through the details. But remember, the reason we care about that is because National and ACT need Labor's numbers in Parliament to get that free trade deal across the line, because New Zealand First is refusing to support it. Winston Peters has said that he feels the deal didn't get enough for our dairy exporters, and today in a social media post he expressed concern about immigration, saying the deal could mean tens of thousands of people arriving here and taking opportunities away from New Zealanders. It seems he was referring to a 3-year skilled work visa that was agreed to between India and New Zealand, and National is pushing back against Winston Peters' claims, suggesting that the numbers he's put out there are exaggerated. And National has accused New Zealand First of pulling its support for the free trade deal before it was even finalised. So a bit of a taste there of what's sure to be a robust election campaign.